So good morning, everyone. I'm going to record this as a Bitcoin 101 session for every Saturday that we do. We, of course, try and break down some concepts that come about within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. And today we're going to look at the concept of market psychology and what three key things that you need to remember always in anything that you're doing, especially now that we're focusing on the cryptocurrency markets. So there are going to be exciting points that you need to take note. And remember, you don't just a matter of remembering them. No, not really a point of cramming it, but you just need to remember. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Then we can get to know the key points of a market cycle, like psychology, and what you need to have always at the back of your mind when you are doing anything within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So later we're going to have the news section, whereby we're going to share key points that, or there are other key news items that came about within the week that maybe that we saw it being of much importance. So the topic of the day is the psychology of market cycles, and of course I'm going to be focusing on three key points at the end of the session, whereby you need to remember. So diving right to it, these actually I got from the Binance Academy. They have very good content on the Binance Academy section. So I'm going to show you a few images and also a few write-up put together as well. So cycles are basically cycles are everywhere in our lives and are intertwined within them. We are within these cycles of life. So there are cycles in seasons, of course, in weather, and of course, even in interplanetary movements, in terms of how planets move, revolve around. There are cycles. Even our bodies have cycles. At times you feel very high energy, at times you feel low energy. That is the same concept basically that applies, if you can see over there. The prices of financial assets, real estate, and cryptocurrencies move in repeating rhythms as our emotions are related to these asset ebbs and flow. So that is what we will talk about today. So this diagram was posted by Binance, the Academy session. Of course, it looks juggled up, and I'm going to be breaking it down bit by bit, whereby just take bit by bit, and then at the end of it all, you will see now the whole picture. So it's normally, of course, on the left side of your side is a price, and then of course the lower part is the time movement in terms of the future. So zero is the midpoint. Of course, you see the curve going upwards, then downwards, then again the same cycle repeats. So let's break down these two key points. To key segments that you'll be able to understand bit by bit. As I said, this is from the Binance Academy. We can actually, let me share that link. I'll share the link on this link on the chat, so that you can have your own reading at your own time. So market psychology is the idea that movements of a market reflect or are influenced by the emotional state of its participants. Yeah, it is one of the main topics of behavioral economics, basically how people behave in an economy, and interdisciplinary field that investigates the various factors that precede economic decisions. So this, now we are talking about the bigger aspect of things that now are zeroed into emotions. So let's dig right into the key points. What makes this cycle? So many believe that emotions are the main driving force behind the shifts of financial markets. And the overall fluctuating investor sentiments is what creates the so-called psychology market cycles. So, of course, the overall fluctuating investor sentiments. Some people have a feeling that, oh, this thing is going to make me more money. This thing is, I'm going to lose money. I'm going to make money. I'm going to lose money. So that is what will that is what buys in, or rather builds in into these cycles, and they are basically broken down into four. into 4 sectors, 4 subsectors which you're going to go about right now. So the first phase, the ever first phase that normally comes about is what we call the accumulation phase. So what does it mean? Right after volumes appear on the market, investors start buying assets hoping that the previous phase is left behind. This is now the first cycle that appears. Always comes in perceptibility. People perceive, or rather they see prospects for the future. Yeah. At that time, of course, everything is bearish, meaning people, as the media is skeptical and rates are very low. So no one wants to talk about it, or rather, if they're talking about it, they are talking about it on the negative. But the sellers who once had the upper hand are now beginning to lose their power because of the buyers starting to get more aggressive. This comes about when it is an existing asset class or a commodity. So for you, you need to know that cryptocurrencies are a new concept. So there is no history behind it. We are actually this is now the 12 years of cryptocurrencies, and that is Bitcoin in particular. So when we are at the accumulation phase, this is where now we basically try out on a new idea. So as you can see over there, that's when professional investors, the risk takers, are accumulating or getting ready to exit when those who are going to get in late. So meaning they are willing to risk, they are willing to put in something when everything is not, when the media, everybody is saying that this thing is not going anywhere. That's where now they are ready to get in. Remember, they have a point of exit at the point of entry. They have already defined that I'm going to buy into this asset class, I'm going to buy these cryptocurrencies, and I'm going to target maybe 200%, 100%, 1,000% at the point of buying. So they're not really gambling; they are taking a position. So that is the first phase. Normally, what usually, as you can see over there, the diagram. Let me just put that to full view so that you can see it properly. So you can see over there that the first phase basically it normally lasts many months, and everything is low. There is no volume. The price is very low. There are low expectations. This is where actually people are very fearful. They are very they really don't want to talk about it more. So no one wants to get in, and that's where now smart money is buying into the asset class. So what comes in next is phase number 2, which is what you call the markup phase, or rather people know it as a bull market. So welcome, James. We are just getting to dive into the psychology of a market cycle. What basically makes up like these kind of cycles that we have within the cryptocurrency environment. So we are on the second phase, whereby we call it now the bull market. So this is where the majority of money is made. Traders start noticing that sentiments have changed. More and more new players are arriving into the market, meaning more people are buying into the asset class. They are getting into, they want to take a bite of this new asset class. So you can see over there, while some professionals prefer closing their positions. So as people got in at the accumulation phase, would possibly now start exiting some of their positions. In this case, they are not exiting the whole lot. They're just exiting part of, meaning they are selling out their position. So the market is coming into the bullish mode, and rates are approaching their peaks. So that is now the markup phase as it starts a bull market. So phase number 3 is what we call the distribution phase. So this stage number 3 is what we call it starts as the markup phase ends, and price enters another range period. So it's another point of where the price is basically ranging, meaning it moves between 2 set ranges or boundaries. So the assets are being sold over a period of sold and bought over a period of time, the opposite of accumulation. This time, sellers want to maintain higher prices. The emotional background is growing higher. people are getting more emotional. They are getting more excited. They are getting more, more. You can say that the mood is positive. Everybody is happy. The expectations are being mixed. The market is now, of course, starting to strongly depend on the news. Meaning there is news of somebody is launching a big market, somebody is doing this, somebody. So everything is exciting. Everything is expectations basically are getting more and more up and up. And of course, this is where now we now move into the third phase, whereby it's called the markdown phase. Markdown phase, which is now equates to a bear market. Bear meaning it is going, because the concept of bear market comes in whereby the animal, the bear usually attacks by striking the prey down. It hits the prey down. But for a bull market normally, with the horns, it takes the prey or rather what do you call it? The danger that is in front of it upwards. From a bear, it's downwards. So prices, of course, now start dipping down. So the last phase of the asset cycle is the markdown, which is now the bear market. Markdown begins when the price makes a lower high and no new high. So the price is gradually going down and down. So markdown phase follows distribution, as we talked about, which is when now institutions sell the inventory, or rather they exit most of the positions, because now they know the volumes are there, the prices are at the peak, and now they want to exit. So of course they'll be exiting for other reasons, maybe of course to take profits. Number two, of course, they're going to be changing or rather investing into other asset classes or ventures that they're coming up. So markdown is equated to a downtrend. So that is what maybe you need to remember. So, and that is the diagram you can see over there. It shows that everything is going on. So for the summary, this is what now gives you an entire summary of what you talked about. The accumulation phase, rather here it's called the stealth phase, is where now smart money is buying into an asset class. Most of us in Bitcoin, we miss this phase. And of course, now we come to the awareness phase. That is now whereby institutional investors come in. This is when I think most people got into Bitcoin. That is now back in early 2011, 12, 13, 14. This is where now it came about. This, of course, is the first cycle. Of course, then we had the mania phase, where now everything went up. The media attention is there. The public is happy. Greed is there. Then now the new paradigm comes in, whereby now we get to a markdown. And of course, here it returns back to the first place where it started. It's a cycle. So the 3 points that maybe I wanted us to share, or rather I want to share with you here today, is that at the end of the market cycle, there is usually either a strong correction followed by consolidation. So remember, when everything is at the top price, it either corrects or it consolidates. That is what you need to remember. Or a further growth in this case, when we're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin may recede to higher prices, or it can correct downwards as in on a serious note. So, and then of course the entire cryptocurrency market follows. This is where I talk about all the other cryptocurrencies that are going to the Ethereum and all the rest. So that is point number one. At the end of the cycle, there's usually either a correction followed by consolidation. That is what you need to remember. Number two, the market cycle of the cryptocurrency market is the growth of Bitcoin. So when you see Bitcoin has grown in volume and in price, Ethereum also usually follows it next. So which ends with the stabilization of Bitcoin at a certain level. So Bitcoin has never gone back to 2,000. Bitcoin has never gone to 10,000. Bitcoin has never gone to 20,000. So every time it goes to a certain range, it maintains there. That is what now we mean. Every time you can say it's a bubble. Anytime the bubble bursts, of course, you get a bigger bubble. Then again, the bubble will burst, we get again another bigger bubble. So it never goes down below like a certain level. It creates a plateau whereby it will always come back to that like plateau. So After that, after of course Bitcoin stabilizes, then money now again, or rather gains, flows into altcoins. These are now the alternative coins, the Ethereum, the Litecoin, the Cardano, all these other, that's where now money flows into. And of course, here where you now get to see the Bitcoin dominance failing. Bitcoin dominance is failing because it shows you that the strength of Bitcoin in the market is reducing. And of course, the altcoin season is where now comes in. This is where now we normally see many cryptocurrencies or other alternative coins really going up in value. I think for Simba Mtoto, this is where now you hear about all the Web 2.0 cryptocurrencies, whereby they experience very high gains after Bitcoin has seen its growth. So in short, it says the top altcoins first grow, the top altcoins, and then follows by others selected. Not all cryptocurrencies will grow. There are selected few that will grow. Others, of course, will take a very deep tanking downwards. So this stage can take several weeks, and often the same mistake is made, whereby now people come in euphorically to these cryptocurrencies when everybody is sort of cashing out, who of course they entered in earlier. Then point number 3, those who did not have time to buy Bitcoin when it was low or sold it early are often afraid to re-enter, and that's why they buy in FOMO. So somebody sees Bitcoin has gone to very very huge highs. Initially they were afraid to buy. Now they sold it very early. So they feel that fear of, hey, I think I sold this thing very early or I missed it. Now they come in euphorically. And that is when now, unfortunately, that's when now the price is going against their plan. And that's where we need to remember, everything is a cycle. There is now on a positive note. After a short pause, the cycle repeats. So don't feel as if you are going to miss anything. It's a cycle. It keeps repeating itself time and time again. And of course, sadly, people usually forget it so fast. So fast. So I think that basically was my talk of today. Remember that you are not going to miss anything. Everything is a cycle. So you need to just to get in at the right time, define what you want to attain in this market, define your gains at the start and stick by it. The moment you have weekends whereby you see a very short correction, you will sell. That's when now you get to lose your investment. But if you don't, as long as you have a plan, of course you get to benefit from it in the long run. So remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but of course, I'm just we are telling you things as the way we've been learning. We're all students in this particular market. So that basically sums up my presentation. Remember, this is the cycle that we have. This is what I was breaking down. Everything is a cycle. You need to know where are we in the cycles. And for me, if you ask me where are we in the cycles, I think we are somewhere around here. We are somewhere around here. That is what we call complacency. We can still go up. We are gathering steam for the next rally. I think that's where we are. That is my view, and that is what I don't know what maybe you can post it down on the comments later when this video is up. Let me get to hear where you think we are in within this market this market cycle. And of course, remember, you're not going to miss anything. Everything is a cycle. It will come back to where it was before. Just need to have a plan. So that was the topic today, the psychology of market cycles. Let's now dive in briefly to the news section. What was what stood out within the week, and how we can make benefit of it, and of course how we can play it out and see how the market has really grown over time, really. So that's what we are talking about. So let's see. The first news that I came about today was that Hillary Clinton says crypto could undermine dollar as the world reserve currency. This, I think, happened yesterday. Yeah, it happened yesterday in the US. So Clinton, of course, she's the former Secretary of State, weighed in on the rise of cryptocurrencies during her virtual appearance on the Bloomberg New Economy Forum, which is, I think it's been running this week, claiming that they could undermine the role of the US dollar. That is now Bitcoin. So quoting her, this is what he said. She said, rather, one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency. The rise of cryptocurrency. Because what looks like an interesting and exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade them in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollars as reserve currencies, for destabilizing nations. This is what she mentioned in that forum. So Clinton, of course, who was the Democratic presidential nominee during the 2016 election, claims that crypto poses a direct threat to global currency markets. We're talking about the fiat-based cryptocurrencies. So some believe her words could be actually seen as an advertisement for cryptocurrencies by ardent proponents. You can see over there somebody by the name Tom Gara, who is a Twitter proponent. Of course, he's a Bitcoin proponent. Quoted already, as you can see. You can imagine crypto people would put this on their billboard ads. Has the potential for destabilizing nations. Hillary Clinton, that is Bitcoin. Of course, this is going to be interesting this week as we go, as we look how the week is going to play. Other news, of course, related to this, Elon Musk slams fiat money. That is what Clinton is actually trying to protect. Elon Musk, of course, you know who he is. He's like one of the, I think, the current richest person, the CEO of Tesla. As once again criticized governments issued fiat currencies in response to a tweet posted by Dogecoin co-founder Billy Marcus. Of course, he's another Dogecoin enthusiast. So the centibillionaire underscored how little ordinary people actually know about normal money, highlighting how outdated and malleable it is. So you can see over there, I'm convinced less than 1% of people who talk about cryptocurrency know even the most basic things about it. And that is what I've been actually saying time and time again. People don't learn. People don't want to learn about the basics of money. Also, of course, this comment was said by the guy of one of the CEOs of Dogecoin, and Elon Musk, in response, responded to him saying that normal money is actually a bunch of ancient mainframes running cable in the battery, where government can edit money, debase it whenever they want. These are very strong sentiments coming from a guy like Elon Musk, and this should be actually taken on a serious note. But of course, people don't want to learn. The few who are learning, of course, will at the end reap very big in the coming years on how big this ecosystem is. As you can see clearly, Hillary Clinton says it is going to destabilize nation currency. That is what she meant. So this is going to be an interesting play as we go forth. Another news coming in again, Bitcoin bargain is from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin bargain, third biggest well-addressed, adds 207 Bitcoins at $62,000. So I think the last two sessions I talked about who is a whale. I think I gave clarifications of the levels of people who are holding Bitcoins. So the whale are the big Bitcoin holders of Bitcoin. So we have whales, we have sharks, we have all these sorts of categories. So whale are the people who hold more than 10,000 Bitcoin in their wallets. Of course, you can be able to check that on the open blockchain. So whales are broadly acting just like in 2017 bull market. Research suggests as Bitcoin price action takes another breather. So let me just take a little bit of that. So it says that despite falling 8% over the past 24 hours, that is for yesterday, Bitcoin remains a solid buy for its biggest investors. For one address, now the third largest, with a balance of 193,433 Bitcoins. It added the equivalent of $12.8 million to its balance at the price of that. So as of now, this address has increased its holdings by 635 Bitcoins in November. That is, as per journalist called Colin, who actually tracks that. So that is a clear indication that people are are in the, if you remember what I just shared, people are the well-to-do, the well-known investors or institutional investors are basically accumulating now Bitcoin at the top price. As you can see, they are converting what they have into Bitcoin for long-term storage. That is what I can say. Moving on, a Brave browser. I don't know whether I use the Brave browser. It's one of the browsing safe browsing that I use. Of course, you can use it's based on Chrome. So Brave introduces built-in browser wallet for Ethereum. So Brave will let users exchange Ethereum-based wallets directly through their browser. This is exciting news, and of course, it shows you how the adoption is growing more and more and more. So the key takeaways: Brave latest version provides access to a native Ethereum wallet. Brave wallet can be used directly within the browser and bypasses the need to download extensions. So Brave said a native wallet will be useful in overcoming security issues associated with the extension. So of course, these are very good development coming from Brave. Of course, you can see it has more than 40 million users who are using the Brave browser. And of course, this now introduces them to of course, to layer 2 solutions, as you can see over there. Layer 2 solutions are basically built on top of Ethereum network, the likes of Polygon and Xtai. Of course, this is now the tech side of cryptocurrency that I don't want to go into. To other news, interestingly, over 500 merchants can now accept SHIB as payment option via CoinGate. So SHIB is, of course, one of the meme coins similar to Dogecoin that is really cost friendly. People, some people have made millions out of it because they actually bought it in at a very low price. If you remember our chart, they accumulated SHIB coins at the when it was basically nothing. Today it has gone up, I think, by more than 1 million%. So use cases of meme coin cryptocurrency Shiba Inu continue to grow after payment platform CoinGate integrated the token, enabling merchants to accept SHIB as a payment method. So this is the kind of world we are getting into now, whereby people are starting to accept cryptocurrencies as a form of payment in such a way. Another news again, Shiba Inu now supported by Samsung-backed crypto wallet. Again, these are interesting developments. Of course, we don't know how these will last, but of course, this is the kind of world we are heading into now, whereby interesting, weird things are happening, and that's where this is the kind of shift that we are right now. We as you can see over there, we are set to be one of the first crypto wallets to support SHIB, especially because of its vibrant, creative, and enthusiastic community. So we don't know how this community will be enthusiastic. Of course, there are key elements that makes a cryptocurrency valuable, and of course, that we'll see as we go by in time. So just maybe to give you an outlook, Bitcoin at the moment has a total valuation of about $1.1 trillion. That is the total valuation. Ethereum has a value of $509 billion. That is the total valuation of it. Binance Coin has a valuation of about $97 billion. Theta, which is like the what you can say, it's the dollar-backed cryptocurrency is at $73 billion. You can see over there. I was actually wanted to show you about Dogecoin is at 30 billion. Shiba Inu is at about 26 billion. These are things that 1 year ago they were worth less than $100 billion in terms of valuation, and you can see how they've grown through time. So moving on to Australia, Perth hit baseball club to accept payment and pay players and staff in Bitcoin. So it is very interesting. Australian baseball team, is called Perth hit on Tuesday. That is this week, partnered with Bitcoin payments company OpenNode in a move to allow the club to accept Bitcoin payments and send Bitcoin payouts to players and staff through the Lightning Network. So these are the kind of development that we are going to be seeing as we go by in the coming years. I think also I forgot to share that the Lakers stadium, I think in the US, one of the biggest. There's an exchange called Crypto.com who actually bought the naming rights of that stadium, a deal that was worth about $700 billion. So that's the kind of money that we're talking about in this space right now. Some other news: Indian PM urges democratic countries to collaborate on cryptocurrencies. So Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has grown increasingly vocally about cryptocurrencies. You can see the way the tide is changing. Everybody now wants to talk about the cryptocurrencies, and for me, this is a clear sign that we are, I think, at the top of this market, and we are going to see some bear market. That is, for me, that is my view. I may be wrong, but that is what I can see in the coming weeks to come. To other news, you can see over there, Binance Smart Chain. This is where now most developers would want to build their applications on. Recorded its high, like the top most of the transactions at about 1.5 billion in terms of value. So if you want to develop applications or build solutions, of course, Binance is the best platform to do that. Moving forward, right here, right at our neighbors, Tanzania's Zanzibar reportedly exploring ways to adopt crypto. That is what you can see over there. More African countries are considering adopting Bitcoin as a local crypto market surges over 1,200% in 1 year. Of course, that is highly pushed through the peer-to-peer platforms that we have within the country. Of course, Binance is one of the best platforms that we have peer-to-peer. So Zanzibar, a semi-autonomous territory in Tanzania, is reportedly exploring ways to regulate and adopt cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. That is what you can see. The government of Zanzibar is planning to conduct meetings with the stakeholders like banks, ministries, to discuss policies related to currency industry. That is, as per Minister of State Mudrex Soroga announced the plans to Tanzania News Agency last Wednesday. So this is encouraging, of course, and we're going to see a whole lot of new money coming into the ecosystem, and I'm happy this is happening right here in Africa. So that basically sums up my session today. I thought to basically share with us the key points about the market cycles. If you missed this, I'm going to be recording it. And of course, what you can know that is that everything is on a cycle, and there's nothing you're going to miss. And of course, if you just take a picture from what I've been reading in terms of the news, that for me is basically getting more confident that we are more or less at this level, complacency level, whereby everybody thinks we are going to go to a new high. Everybody's talking about a new high of Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about the way everything is sort of, everybody's expecting more and more price gains in the near future. But of course, as per the cycles stipulate, we may be in for another kind of bear market for this year. So that basically sums up my presentation. If we have any question, we have, I think, about 3 minutes or 5 minutes to go. Let me see on the chat whether you can, if you have any question, feel free to ask it as I share the links for our Telegram channel, and of course the link for the Binance article, whereby you can read this in detail and get to understand more about the market cycles. So just type on the chat if you have any question that you may want me to discuss openly, because we are all learning at the same time. Nobody is an expert. Everybody is learning. I'm also learning. Also reminding myself that it's a psychology. Sometimes we get to forget, but of course, such sessions remind us that everything is on a cycle, and cycles is it's nature basically. We have times of good, times of reaping, times of sowing, times of weeding, times of harvesting, and again you get to plant again. So same applies to cryptocurrency environment. So that sums up my session. So feel free to ask any question. For those who are joining right now, we are at the tail end of this session. I have shared the links for this particular topic that I shared today. If there's any question, feel free to shoot it on the chat. And I hope you're getting value in what you're sharing every day. Remember, we do this every Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning, just an open session to get to inform you, to update you, and also to give us a view of where we are heading into, and also how you can possibly take an advantage. Everything is learning, everything is taken step by step, and so that in essence, I'm happy to do this every Saturday. Lawrence was not able to come in, but of course he will be here in the coming week with a topic, a very interesting topic, and we're going to be looking forward for that. So thank you very much. If there's no question, thank you very much, James. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Ayuan, though you came in late. I'm going to be posting this recording on our chat, on the Telegram channel, and also on our Facebook, YouTube, and also on our Telegram channel. So let me again perhaps reshare the links so that you can maybe join the channel, whereby you get to get this recording right there. Otherwise, let me wish you a good weekend ahead. Let me post the links there so you can again check this recording. If you have any question that you may want us to cover a topic that you may want us to cover next week, just let us know. We'll be glad to do a research and get back to you. Otherwise, thank you very much, and have a blessed week ahead. Thank you, and bye-bye.